Are we alive?
All right, everybody. Welcome to episode 90 of the Galactic Dads podcast. Of course, we are your dad destination for all things geek, dad life, and beyond. That'll include bits of dad advice for any of your daddy issues. We talk comics, video games, TV shows, movies, and oh, so much more. Today, that's going to include myself, B. I am back again, but I'm also joined by Laser Eric. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up? How we doing?
I like it. I like it. We're trying out this new interface for recording virtually, and so far I'm digging it.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it too. I hope I didn't just accidentally talk through the intro.
Yeah, I think you tried. I
I
think you
think
tried, but
okay.
that's okay. We'll work through it. It's no
Tried is
big deal.
okay.
So it looks like this thing just automatically uploads to the cloud while you record, so that's entertaining.
Yep.
We are using Riverside.fm, trying to use this as a new way to create content more consistently for everybody. It does feel good to be back, though. It's been about 2 weeks since we recorded an actual episode, and I gotta tell you, I've missed it
It's
a
amazing how
lot.
responsibility gets in the way. I mean,
It does. It's weird. And all that stuff, you have to be like a dad, and oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. But
yeah,
anyway, if
it's
you miss us, you can find us anytime on any of the social media networks. You can find us as at Galactic Dads. You can find us there on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and even on TikTok. By the way, I big return on TikTok. Video I posted last night had some huge return. So I think we're going to be doing a lot more on TikTok.
is it going to be more Amber Heard jokes? Because those seem to be real easy right now.
I can't stop. I cannot stop. I'm sorry. Like I want to. I want to be better than that, but I just haven't been able to do it yet. It's just nonstop poop jokes.
It's the low hanging fruit right now. It's totally fair.
It is the low hanging dingleberries. So anyway,
Indeed.
you sir can be found also on social media. What's your handle?
Yes. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Laser83Eric. I'm also on Twitter at GDadsGaming. That is the Galactic Dads Gaming department. You can also find the food and beverage arm of the show at Galactic Dads BBQ on Instagram. That's where all the good pictures and all the good food descriptions come.
Man, we've been doing work on that lately.
Yes,
I know I've
yes.
been sending you some stuff pretty frequently, and I don't know what it is, but I just really like plating things nicely. I don't know. I think it's because in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna send this to Laser Eric.
You know, you get the plating and the descriptions incredibly well. I'm very impressed every time you send me something. I seem to only really have success on Instagram when I put up a reel of bacon sizzling. But
Mm,
man, y'all love your bacon.
like,
Seriously.
give me that bacon. So you can check that bacon out that we're talking about, of course, at Galactic Dads BBQ over on Instagram. So definitely go check that out. You can also find us on another fun and wonderful what it isn't even a social media platform. I don't know, but you can find us on Untapped, and there you can follow the beers that we drink. And as such, you can go ahead and run right into beers of the week for the Galactic Dads podcast. Now, typically, I would be drinking a beer or something as such, but today I'm feeling inspired. It was warmer weather and I was grilling, so I reached for a Four Hands Brewing Co. hard seltzer, and that's the Sparkler. It's inspired by a bomb pop, and let me tell you, it comes with high praise from Laser Eric. So
That is the best seltzer there is. It's so freaking
uh,
good.
oh, it just smells like a bomb pop too.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, wait, yeah, wait. There you go.
Oh, that's dangerous. That's really
Yes, it
good.
is.
Hey, Four Hands,
Yes.
good job. Good job.
Yeah. That one's really, really, really good. That one and Thriller. Um, Thriller was really good too. I think that was like the God, I got one downstairs. I don't remember exactly, but it was delicious as well.
Are you? What do you have this evening, sir?
So my beer of the week is going to be from our good friends in St. Charles at Two Plumbers Brewing Company. I've got the Magic Potion Irish Red. I love this beer.
That sounds
5.5%
good.
alcohol by volume. It's a easy, smooth drink. They've got it on tap at the brewery all the time. And every time we go, I've got to have one. And if I don't have one, my wife does. So either way.
Every time we get there, we gotta have it. It's good. It's awesome.
Mhm.
All right, very good. Well, that's going to do it for us on our beers of the week. And you can find us again drinking and all that fun stuff on any of our other socials. You can find us on YouTube. And if you are a Patreon member, you can watch us record the live feed for all of our normal podcast episodes. So Patreon subscribers get access to the live feed as we do the show. So you could be early. And you will also have access to all other videos and things like that. So definitely go check that out at patreon.com/galacticdads. All right, we got a lot to talk about this week, by the way. There's a lot going
We
on.
do. Yeah, we do.
Uh,
We
we
got to get a little bit caught up, and the world is certainly not shorted us on good information.
no, there's a ton of stuff going on, and there's like, I mean, we'd be remiss if we don't mention that it's gonna be May the 4th. So when you're
Hmm.
listening to this episode, May the 4th be with you. You guys can definitely check out our sister podcast on the Galactic Dads Media Network of the Force Dyad podcast. We'll be celebrating May the 4th all month long. So you could go check them out. And I mean, where's Jedi John at right now? Isn't he at a con?
Yeah, I think he is. I know he was there this weekend. It looked like he was having a blast. He put a picture up and sent a picture of him standing there with Timothy Zahn, and looked like he was geeking out pretty crazy. So that's
Yeah,
awesome.
nice. It was nice. They posted that, but we'll talk about them on the show a little bit later. But first, we're gonna dive into these daddy issues real quick to make way for all the fun TV show news, movie news. There's a lot to dive into there. We also
Hmm.
have some pretty big stuff in video games and comics. There's some huge news that just came out, so we definitely want to talk about those and so much more. So let's dive into these daddy issues.
Let's do it.
All right, so daddy issues are always a good time. By the way, if you guys have any daddy issues, if you would like the Galactic Dads help with any of your issues, feel free to send your daddy issue, your questions, your comments, your stories over to galacticdads@gmail.com. I'd love to get some stuff from you guys, see what your issues are, see if we could help or see if you could help us because we know this dad thing. It doesn't come with a manual, so
No, not at
yeah,
all.
let's all dad together and figure this stuff out. But anyway, I found out very fun. Last week I was out of town for work on the day job. I'd flown in I think 6 flights in 8 or 7 days, 7 or 8 days. I had 6 flights, so that was a lot of fun. But when I got back, my son had some kind of lumps in his neck
Mm,
underneath his ears, and thought that was odd. So we went to the doctor. Turns out he has an ear infection.
that
So
stinks.
that's a lot of fun. That kid, man, I love him so much, but he is my little problem child. I feel like I did not have a lot of these issues with my daughter, but my son is just if there's something to experience, he wants to experience it. So we're doing all sorts of fun stuff with him. But it was
Yeah,
weird.
it
It was weird
sounds
when
like it.
when I could feel the it was like lumps and like you could tell it's like the lymph nodes, right? Like they're like kind of bumps. It's weird. And he kind of kept playing with his ears, so we went ahead and took him to the doctor. And he, of course, had fluid on one ear and an infection in the other. So he is now on the wonderful. I think we just lost Eric. That's fun. And he's back. Where'd you go? You got booted. Anyway, look how quick you got back, though. I liked that. That's nice. Yeah. But anyway, so he's, of course, doing a nice healthy dose of amoxicillin twice a day for 10 days. Hopefully that takes care of it. So, a lot of fun. You know what's really fun when your kid goes on antibiotics? Or anybody goes on antibiotics for that matter? Oof, man. When it comes time to change a diaper, it's way different and it is angry. Like, oh my God, this is awful. So, for everybody listening, if you haven't had the joys of your children being on antibiotics, that's a nice little like side bonus to have really, really nasty diapers for first couple poops after they start antibiotics.
Yeah, the gift that keeps on taking, you could
Yeah,
say.
my God. Anyway, so what's going on in your daddy issue world?
Well, it's funny because the kids have been pretty good, lately and everything like that. Yeah, both boys are doing good. They're healthy. Barrett had a little bit of a mild illness on the other day, kept me home from work, but by lunchtime he was fine, just a little sluggish. But
There you
we
go.
we've decided that we need to complicate our lives a little bit. So we actually this about a week and a half ago, we started the process of we are house shopping.
Nice.
So that's exciting, and it's interesting to do because when we bought this house, we had one child, and said child fit in a pumpkin seat, so we could carry him around just like we would carry a purse or a backpack. Now we have two that like to run around, and it
Mm.
makes the looking a little different. We actually toured a house this afternoon that we both liked quite a bit, but it was funny because as we're going through the house and looking through it and everything, I've got to keep an eye, like one eye on what I want to look at, and the other eye on making sure my kids aren't destroying something while they're walking around with me. Um, but it's actually kind of cool because at least with Logan, he's old enough to give his input. So
Oh yeah,
he's
that's a
looking at
good
the
point.
rooms and can this be my room? It's like let's not put the cart before the horse, buddy. Let's keep
Yeah.
looking and
And furthermore, this is the homeowner suite, so no.
Right, exactly. But no, he didn't ask for that, but I'm sure that's coming.
Yeah, I bet. I bet. Well, that's great news. That's exciting stuff, especially in this housing market, my God. So best of luck to you in your search, sir.
Yeah, thanks. Like I said, we decided we wanted to complicate our lives a little bit.
Why make it easy? What's fun
It's
in
not
that?
fun that way. Yeah.
Ah. All right, well, we'll definitely have to do updates on that. You're going to have to find a house with a large backyard for all of the grilling, barbecuing, and cookouts that you'll obviously host.
Actually, it's funny you should mention that because the house that we look at today does not have a very big backyard, but the reason that it doesn't is because it has just a gigantic deck in the back.
Ah.
Um,
Well, I mean, we
I
can party
believe.
on that too. Yeah, it's no big
Oh
deal.
yeah.
Yeah,
My
that's
buddy
fine.
Tim's comment when I sent him a picture of it, his comment was, "You're going to need to buy at least a couple more barbecue grills to make room or to fill that space."
Hmm.
Which I don't want my wife to kill me, so I'll just stick
I'm
with what
sure
I've
you sent
got.
it to Tim, and Tim was like, "Nice deck. That's a big deck." Thank you, sir.
Yeah, something
Yes.
like that.
It's not the size of the deck, it's how you use it, correct? Anyway.
That's what I hear.
All right. Very cool. Well, that's going to wrap daddy issues. I mean, unless you've got anything else to add?
That's all I've got for now. Like I said, the kids have been the simple part right now.
Yes, very nice. All right, well, let's move it on because we have some huge stuff. Let's talk about Moon Knight over in TV.
Let's do it.
All right. Welcome back to the Fist of Kansu. Wait a minute. No, no, no. I'm sorry. Galactic Dads. But of course, we're talking about Moon Knight. Been watching all of the fun episodes that are releasing weekly over on Disney Plus. The last episode we talked about last episode of the podcast we talked about episode 2, and now we're all the way up
Yes.
through episode 5. And very
Yes.
shortly, the 6th episode, which I believe is the final episode of the season, will
Yes, it
drop.
is.
So, very exciting stuff. Let's talk about so far. Some kind of confusing stuff going on, though. Also, some really cool stuff. So, I'll let you just take over. What have been some of the highlights, and what's your favorite so far?
Dude, I gotta be honest with you. This show makes my head hurt, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I guess I kind of do, but I really don't. Like it's just it's borderline confusing. But
Indeed.
you like I've found myself this is a show that I've had to watch several episodes multiple times to get my head wrapped around what was going on. Um, I guess are we? Yeah, well, heck, episode six. The last episode of the season will be out here pretty soon. So, at the risk of spoilers, in five, four, three, two, one,
There you go.
as the as the story develops, as Khonshu, goes through, and then they seal Khonshu away, and you've currently got Mark and Steven in the metaphorical mental hospital, and then you've got the I don't remember the name of the god, the hippo god.
Uh,
That's
to wear it. T
to
A
wear it.
W.
Okay,
Yeah, to wear it.
I was going to say Tamarit, so I wasn't far off, but
That was close.
you
That was
know,
very close.
yeah, it's really cool seeing that on screen. It's really cool seeing what they're going through, the ship to the afterlife and everything it's very cool. I'm not as well versed with Egyptian mythology as maybe I could stand to be to catch on to some of this stuff in the show. Um,
Yeah, I'm not there either, so don't feel too
yeah,
bad.
the action's cool. Man, if you're not like invested in watching this, it's gonna be a hard watch, like all the way through. Um,
Yeah,
but I mean, I dig
I
it. I think it's
understand that.
cool. But like when I look at that, when I get somebody that's like, oh well, I don't really know much I don't really know much about the MCU. I don't really know much about all this stuff. Is it interesting? I'm like, yeah, it's interesting. It's a great show. Um, but lock your phone away and make sure everybody's in bed when you're trying to watch it. Because if your kids are up or something, you're gonna miss them, guaranteed, every time.
That's true. Although I
So
have really enjoyed how they jumped into kind of an Indiana Jones feel, right? Like all of a sudden we were
yes,
watching like
yes,
a Marvel movie, and then it was like a sequel to The Mummy, the Brendan Fraser one, not the Tom Cruise one. So
right,
it's
right, the
been a
good
lot of
one, the
fun
good one.
actually.
Yeah, I've
You know
really enjoyed it.
the one with Tom Cruise wasn't that bad, by the way. I actually enjoyed that movie. I just didn't know exactly what they were after on it. So, but yeah, the Moon Knight has been very enjoyable. I like the characters. Oscar Isaac is just giving. I mean, he's acting circles around anything I'd expect to see. He's just so good. He's of course Mark Spector. He's Stephen Grant, and then he's also Moon Knight. So it was very fun to see where he's going. I was wondering if they'd introduce another one of his personalities, but the season's not over yet, so they very well may do so. But
I
all of
have
the
a feeling
supporting
you're gonna
cast is good.
see. Yeah, I have a feeling you're gonna see that third personality in the last episode.
Yeah, I do. I don't know if I like or dislike them revealing really who the real person is. Obviously, Mark is the at this point, Mark is the original identity. He's the person who was not created from his own mind, and Steven is the fictitious personality. Although he feels very real, right? Like you would
Yes.
almost bet that he has his own life, which is incredible because he kind of does. But seeing why he was created was kind of heartbreaking. Like Mark Spector's
Mhm.
backstory is pretty tragic. And when they shared that, I mean, a lot of it is through heavy implication. It's easy to infer that, his brother died as a childhood accident, but his mom blamed it on Mark, and then she just started abusing him, emotionally neglecting him, and then physically abusing him. And in those moments of abuse, that's where Stephen Grant was created to sit there and essentially Mark could
Take it.
escape mentally while his body was still present. And it's really sad. It's also really sad for Stephen to learn that. Like Mark tried to protect him in the fifth episode, where it's revealed where his identity actually comes from, and you can see, Mark's still like trying to protect Steven, which is strange. And then so when he realizes that he's made up, it's kind of sad. But then they don't dwell on it very long because then you actually see what Mark has done and all the people he's killed. And that was also like there's a lot that goes down the fifth episode. You get to see an awful
Yes.
lot real fast. And even though the episode is, I think it was 40 something minutes, it felt like a long time.
Yeah, it was. It did. It felt like there was a lot to absorb. You're 100% right. Getting the big mental health reveal with Mark and everything. I feel like that almost made the last scene with Steven all the more tragic too. Um, it's funny
Oh,
this last
yeah.
week. Yeah, this last week, not just with Moon Knight. Not to get off topic, but Star Trek Picard had also had a very mental health heavy episode this week too. So there's a lot of heavy stuff on TV the past 7 days. But
Absolutely.
but but I like it, and I like the way that this show, that Moon Knight approaches the topic and approaches the dual personalities and everything, because it is realistically, if you had that problem, that's how it would be. And
Yeah.
and I really like that because somebody like I don't have multiple personality disorder or whatever it's truly called. I couldn't even begin to describe it to you, but I can watch this show and kind of gain a little bit of understanding of that. I think there's something to be said about that.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's called dissociative identity disorder, but it could very well be called something else now. Everything just got new names recently, the last few years, so I could be wrong. However, you're right. From a storytelling perspective, I really enjoy this because it's a new take on the old unreliable narrator trope, right? So your protagonist doesn't have all the answers or even know their own motivations for stuff, and this really takes that to a whole new level, and it's really fun because you can see one of the personalities, which is Steven, is learning stuff about being Moon Knight that the audience gets to go on that journey with him. So it's kind of
Right.
like getting an origin story without having feeling like witnessing an origin story, right? It's not like we're watching Uncle Ben get shot again in Spider-Man or Bruce Wayne's parents die in the alley one more time. We're just
Right.
watching we're we're watching Steven discover what his actual story is, and that's been a lot of fun. And I also still really like Mark Spector. Um, it's been a lot of fun. Like all these characters are great, all of them. Even Ethan Hawke's, plays Harrow, who I mean, he's out to do something pretty bad. But
Yeah.
I wasn't sure how much I liked him initially, but I really enjoy him now, especially by the time the fifth episode hits, and they throw you with the is he the psychiatrist or what's really going on inside this place? What's actually happening? And I like that you kind of don't know.
Right. Right. You got to think the actors, specifically Ethan Hawke and Oscar Isaac, in this movie or in this show. Um, it's crazy the gymnastics that they have to go through because both of them are playing multiple characters
That's true.
in the
And
same
they're doing
character.
it very well. Yeah.
Exactly. It's kind of crazy because when I saw Harrow again in the mental hospital, I saw him in there. First off, it gave me some flashbacks to X-Men First Class because he looked just like Klaus Schmidt from the beginning of that movie. But
Yes, he does.
when I saw him, I was like, oh, okay, so that's how they're bringing this full circle, and I loved it. And there's enough difference between the two Harrows or whatever you want to, however you want to refer to them. Um, it keeps it interesting, but you can still tell that in Mark's mind, it's the same person.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it kind of threw me there. Like, I felt like maybe he is just crazy and all this is in his head. Um, but I'm hoping it's not. I'm hoping this is just in his head while he is dying. Because at the end of the
Right.
fourth episode, he obviously catches a bullet So that's fun. But anyway, I'm very much looking forward to the sixth episode. At the end of the fourth one, all I could think was one phrase, and that was heap hop, heap hop anonymous. Of course, in reference to the giant surprise of a anthropomorphic hippo walking around, and that was just one hell of a way to end the fourth episode, and then to see Mark and Steven interact with her because, of course, it is the Egyptian goddess Terawet. And she's essentially ferrying them over to the afterlife. So it's very entertaining to see that interaction as well. So very cool. A lot of awesome stuff going on over on Moon Knight, and we're looking forward to it wrapping up this week. And of course, we'll be talking about it next week. So
Yes, we will.
and it's not like we don't have anything else to watch though,
That's
because
true.
in TVs, like in TV news, the final episodes of Ozark just came out. And my wife,
Okay.
if I'm being completely honest, my wife is she's leaving me behind. She's currently watching it upstairs while I'm recording. And I feel hurt, but I think our relationship's going to survive.
Yep.
I can't say that I'm so certain of that for all the characters in that show. I think this is going to be a show where a lot of people end up dead, but I don't know. I'm
No,
really
it's the end of
excited.
the series, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the end of the series. Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
Jason Bateman and Laura Linney and all the other incredible actors, including Julia Garner, by the way, who plays Ruth, and she played what is that, Anna Delphi in the Inventing Anna show over on Netflix.
Hmm.
She's just a phenomenal actor or actress, whatever. But she is so good. I'm very happy that she got the role of Ruth on Netflix because she kind of makes that show. So big stuff going on there. But we also have huge movie stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we do. It's getting ready to pop off real darn soon.
It's about to just go nuts. So let's go ahead and jump into movies so we can talk about that. All right, big stuff in movies. I mean, let's
Did you
just
get
go
your
out and
tickets
say
yet?
it. I did not. I don't have my tickets yet. I
Okay.
don't have my tickets yet because I'm pretty sure I've got to take my wife to see that with me. And I know that, of course, Matt is going to be all over to see that movie since Doctor Strange
Oh
was
yeah.
his favorite Marvel movie so far. I bet he's
Yep.
going to have a ball with in the Multiverse of Madness. So, Doctor Strange 2, by the way, by the end of this week, it premieres on May 6th in theaters, and you have tickets already?
We have opening night tickets, yes.
What time?
6:45 in the evening.
Where are you seeing it at?
Mid Rivers. We're
Gotcha.
staying close, but we're doing the super screen with the heated recliners and all that junk and
All that
you know.
jazz. I don't need
Yeah,
all
we
that. I don't need the heated recliners and stuff.
well,
Like
I
when
wanted
we
the big
saw,
screen is what I wanted.
I gotcha. Like when we saw the Batman in IMAX, that was perfect
Hmm.
because
Yep.
it's like old
Yep.
school movie seats, but IMAX screen and sound. It was phenomenal. I don't need a
Yes.
recliner. I have problems staying awake anyway, so don't give me a heated recliner with booze because
I
I'm just
have
out.
right. I have a feeling this movie is not going to be one that you have a problem staying awake through. I'm really tempted to go on a media blackout for the next few days because I've heard that stuff is getting leaked left and right. I've been good and haven't caught anything yet, but I'm nervous about that.
Yeah, there's definitely some spoilery stuff apparently floating around on the internet already. So I will be going black until I see the movie, which
Hmm.
is rough, but it must be done. It must be done.
Yep. Yep.
I know
Desperate times or whatever.
we had to do the same thing during No Way Home for Spider-Man,
Hmm.
which is great because that movie kind of really explored the multiverse, and I think we're just going to really see a lot more of that. This movie, though, the Multiverse of Madness feels kind of like the linchpin for Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I agree.
Uh,
I feel like this is going to be a major step, whereas some of
yeah.
the other movies are minor.
Well, I think that's correct because it's really tying in the Disney Plus TV shows into the
Mhm.
Marvel Cinematic Universe. And obviously, they've all existed together. I mean, WandaVision immediately had ramifications in other shows and even movies, but this just feels like everything, it feels like a culmination of all the shows. It even feels like the What If series, which was the only animated series so far in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, actually will be revisited in this movie quite a bit, actually. So the
Yeah.
multiverse aspect there, I, I feel pretty confident we're going to see Peggy Carter as the
Hmm.
one. Yeah, I mean, she was that universe's Cap, but I think we're going to see her again, and I think that's going to be really cool. I also, in one of the trailers, felt like they were going to go ahead and use this movie as a way to branch out the X-Men 97 cartoon that is already confirmed and coming out on Disney Plus. I saw
Yes.
something that it was just cool. Obviously, it's, Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier, and he is in the yellow hovering wheelchair from the animated X-Men series. And
Yeah, they
I
show
was
you
just,
just enough.
yeah, they show you just like his hand on the armrest of like the yellow chair, and you're like, of course that's the floating one from X-Men 97. What else could it be?
Now,
I
with that, with the rumors that have been out there that there's going to be another Wolverine in this movie, which I'll take or leave. That's whatever. How hopeful are you that if they do show a new Wolverine in this movie, that he's in the yellow suit?
Dude, I hope they show that Wolverine from the animated series.
Yes.
I hope they show you him in the yellow and black tiger stripe classic costume. I would
Yes.
absolutely go nuts for that. And I mean,
Yeah.
really, it's now impossible to not assume that this is where the mutants come in this movie. The Marvel Cinematic Universe,
Right.
they come in via the multiverse of madness, and I cannot wait. It also looks like there's some pretty like I know we talked about this a long time ago, but this is a Sam Raimi film, and I think there is definitely some horror
Hmm.
aspects that we need to be looking forward to in this movie. I mean, because there's some scenes where it looks like a zombie Wanda and a zombie Strange, and they are kind of creepy looking. So
Oh
I look
yeah,
forward to
they're
that.
freaky looking.
I look forward to everything being tied together and used as a launching pad for everything that's to come. And I just know that these after credit scenes are going to be wild.
Yeah, the after credit scene. You think we'll get more than one?
I think so. I think this movie's big enough that you get more than one, just like No Way Home.
Yeah,
Um,
I can see
it,
that.
I assume it'll probably be something. We'll get a Disney Plus TV show one, and then we'll get the next movie one. And, you
What?
know, Thor: Love and Thunder is not far away. We just got the full
No.
trailer finally for that movie, and that is just
What'd
it's
you think?
beautiful. Oh my god!
Yeah.
Talk about getting way more than you knew to even ask for, right? Because
Right.
it's no secret that obviously you finally get your first real look at Jane Foster as the mighty Thor, and she looks spot on, just like the comic. It's
Oh yeah.
incredible.
Oh yeah.
I also was really excited because it definitely has Taika Waititi's mark still on the film. There's this wonderful,
Oh yeah.
wonderful
Very much so.
exchange with Star Lord and Thor, and it's just hilarious. Like I don't know. I couldn't believe that I laughed that hard in that trailer because it was just funny. And then
Oh
moving on,
yeah.
still from that, I was really interested in seeing that the hammer, the Mjolnir that Jane Foster wields, is one that has all the cracks and stuff. It looks to be the one that Hela destroyed in Ragnarok. It looked like it reformed and found a new champion, which is awesome. Like, that's so awesome. I can't tell if she's from a different multiverse or if this is the Jane that we all know and have seen so far, and the hammer actually reformed. I'm not sure, but it looks awesome. I just can't wait to see it.
yeah, the visuals in this trailer were just they were great. The training montage showing Thor getting back to it and everything like that.
Yeah. Showing Thor
That was
lose the
hilarious.
weight was awesome.
Yes. Seeing Thor in the, I guess we'll call it the Asgardians of the Galaxy outfit and
Oh, that's
everything.
his I know what that's called now. That's his Ravager's outfit. He's part of the
There,
Ravagers.
thank you. Yeah, Ravager Thor. That's right. But just it looks like we're definitely going to see the full circle of okay, Thor left to go do this. This is what he's been doing. This is where he's going from here. And I love it. And I agree with you. You can tell that Taika Waititi's stamp is on it, and I love
Mm-hmm.
that too because what he did. I mean, I'm on record. Ragnarok's my favorite MCU movie,
That
and
is true. You have said that.
yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing. I don't think I don't expect this movie to be as good, if that makes sense, but I expect it to be great. I think it'll be an awesome, awesome movie. I think the visual spectacle of it will be great, but I also think the story and the way the story carries on will be a lot of fun to watch.
I'm actually really, really interested to see exactly what they do with Gore, the the God Butcher, or is it Boar?
Right, right. No, it's gore.
Yeah, it's Gore. That's right. I'm interested to see how far they take him because we have symbiotes now in the MCU thanks to No Way Home.
Yep.
I'm interested to see just how far they let Gore go in being the God Butcher because he uses a symbiote and
Hmm.
essentially goes and kills various versions of Thor. So
Hmm.
it'll be interesting to see just how far they take this. Now, Gore is, of course, played by Christian Bale, and there's been a lot of speculation on exactly what he's going to look like. And if you're a fan of Twitter and you're on there often enough, that may have been spoiled for you the past week and a half. Looks like
Hmm.
all of the first look at the toys for the film have been leaked, and you get to see in all of his, 5-inch glory. His Gore looks very much just like Christian Bale, but white. He almost looks like, honestly, he almost looks like Vision from WandaVision without the Mind Stone. So
I
it'll be
agree. He's got that white vision vibe going.
Yeah, he really does. So I'll be interested to see just how much that changes if they let him use a symbiote. If they don't, which is very possible they don't, they give him another source of power. It's just I'll be very interested to see where this character goes and how he changes throughout the film. Hopefully, and I'm sure they will with Taika Waititi behind it, they give Gore a little bit of growth in the film, and he'll have real good motivation. So I'm hoping sincerely, because this has been a problem for the MCU up until this point, is that Gore is not just a very one-dimensional throwaway villain. I need a little more motivation for him.
Yeah, I would like to see more motivation too. I'm not really familiar with Gore the character, except what I've read ever since Christian Bale got cast as him. So I'm looking for something more than just oh this guy's going around killing things. Like I need something more, some kind of motivation behind the villain.
Dude. So okay, so Gore is incredible. He is a relatively new character in comics. I think he showed up somewhere around 2015, possibly a little
Hmm.
before then. But he was a character that was created, or at least co-created by Jason Aaron, who is an incredible writer. He had been writing Thor all the way up until the recent relaunch where Donny Cates took over. But Jason Aaron is currently the writer of Avengers. He's doing some really, really trippy,
Hmm.
mind-bendy stuff over there too. But also, he's a really cool dude. He was super nice when I got to meet him. But he ended up creating this character who Gore was so successful at making Thor question himself that Thor became unworthy to wield the hammer.
Huh.
So That's huge. So for a long time, when Jane Foster was actually wielding the hammer as the mighty Thor, uh, Odinson, as he became known, because for some reason Jane Foster picked up the hammer, was worthy and became called Thor, even though it was a name, not a title. I don't know. But
Right.
anyway, um, it was still a really good series, and that was an awesome run as well. But Gore was successful enough in making Thor question himself and whether or not it's the whisper is Nick Fury whispers to Thor that Gore was right, and that makes
Huh.
Thor question himself enough that he can't pick up the hammer anymore, which was
Oh,
really
wow.
interesting. In the it's in the miniseries Original Sin, also written by Jason Aaron, but it was really cool because Gore essentially is telling the Asgardians that they're not worthy. Like they simply do not need to exist. They do not deserve to be worshipped. Kind of like the way that the Vikings and stuff worshipped, Thor as a god.
Hmm.
Gore makes him question that, and it's pretty cool. Also, Gore kills a lot of versions of Thor, which is really cool too. So seeing Thor battle Gore, the God Butcher, was a really good. Is he's one of those villains where it makes you wonder if Thor can win or if he will win, instead of being like, oh, of course he's gonna win. He's the main character of the book. It was the one that you're like, maybe not. We'll find out. So I love when you get a villain of that caliber, and with him being such a great villain, it took less than 5 years for him to pop up on screen. So it's pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
that's
Good
awesome.
stuff.
And it does make you wonder how far is the MCU going to let Gore go?
Oh man, I really hope they take the symbiote route. I really do.
Yeah. Hmm.
So anyway, so that's what we got there. I'm also excited to see that we'll get more of the Guardians of the Galaxy, because I want to know what Gamora's up to. So I hope that they kind of hint at that, or let you know what to expect there. Because I think we're getting one last final James Gunn directed Guardians movie, which should be coming up, I think, next year. Is that right?
I believe so. Let me see if I can find out. Marvel did just move a couple of release dates, but I don't think they moved Guardians 3. It's still showing that it's coming in 2023.
There we go. I'll take it.
So,
That'll be good.
oh, for sure.
Uh, all right, really good. So, um, do you have anything else to say about Love and Thunder or Multiverse of Madness?
Other than the fact that I can't wait to see it,
Yeah,
either one of them.
I am eager to
Next,
see it. It feels good to be excited about a Marvel movie again. Um,
it, it, yes,
because we had a bit of a lull there, and then of course everybody was stoked for No Way Home, rightfully so. That was just a banger, just an absolute
yes, it
banger
was.
of a Marvel film. But then I was like scared because I was like, oh, is it going to be a long time before we get excited about something again? And nope, we've got the new Doctor Strange and the new Thor movie just around the corner, and very, very excited to be excited about an MCU film again, the way that I was excited when the movies were dropping leading up to Endgame. I'm
It's
glad to
also
be that excited
exciting.
again.
Yes, it's also exciting for me. The theater experience is coming back to what it was. Obviously Black
Absolutely.
Widow and Shang-Chi, the Eternals, they did not get their due in the theaters quite like No Way Home did, and I feel like it's
True.
ramping up from there. Actually, Steph and I went and saw the newest Fantastic Beast movie last weekend, and even that was, you had a pretty involved theater, and it was pretty full. It wasn't packed to the gills full, but it was still full, and it was a nice experience. And I think we're getting back to the point where we're going to have those theater those theater experiences like we had with Endgame, like we had with some of
True.
these other bigger movies. And that's awesome because that's stuff that that's almost as good of a story as watching, being able to say, hey, I saw this movie on opening weekend. Being able to say what it
Right.
was like was really cool.
And that really is part of the experience too. Like being in the theater, I think, is the experience.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it's like we've all talked about when we saw Infinity War. Um, every one of us walked out of the theater and it was silent.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, we were all we didn't know what to say. Like, I don't think Steph and I talked for 10 minutes after we left the theater.
And everyone after Endgame, everybody was just sad, right? Tony's gone,
Right.
Cap's gone. It was weird, but um, our most recent theater experience was probably the Batman. For
Yes.
me, I know you just saw again. You said the latest Fantastic Beast film, but for me, it was the
Hmm.
Batman. And there was some interesting news that came out from that this past week too. It was
Yes, there was.
confirmed, 100% confirmed that Warner Brothers has greenlit a the Batman sequel with Robert Pattinson still attached to the role, and of course Matt Reeves as director. That's exciting to me. That's really exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I'm happy to hear that. That movie was good enough that it definitely deserves more exploration.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And
So,
I have not been silent about this, but here's how I think this movie should go. I think they need to
mhm,
borrow the plot from the Batman Arkham Origins game,
mhm.
but still leave Joker out of it. They need to have like the Gotham underworld, which is currently in a state of uprising, right? They need to go ahead and hire assassins to try and take out Batman in one night, and that should be the movie we get. And instead of Deathstroke, we should get KG Beast, and he should be the one that really gives Batman the business. And what a great film that would be. Think of all of the wonderful villains that Matt Reeves could get his hands into out of Batman's rogues gallery, because we saw that he's good enough to show multiple villains or characters in different states of their development in the first movie. I think he would do so well handling these new assassins or villains for Batman. I think that that would be the level of threat that Batman is probably ready for, this version of Batman in the sequel. That I think that would be just spot on and perfect.
I would love to see something like that. I would love to see something different. What I don't want to see is I don't need another Joker. I
I
mean,
don't.
the Joker's a great character, but I don't need it. I would love something like what you're talking about. I think that would be awesome. Something else I would really enjoy is if they dove deeper on the Penguin.
I think
Colin
you'll see
Farrell
that
did a
anyway. Yeah.
bang up job. Yeah, and I would love to see some exploration of the Penguin. I saw something. I followed a rabbit hole on Twitter, which is always dangerous, but they were talking about ways that Mister Freeze could even possibly find his way onto the screen on this, which could be interesting. The idea of possibly placing it immediately after the events of the Batman, which, for the sake of not spoiling the movie, there's a lot of water involved. And with
There
it being
certainly
late in the
is.
end of the year, could freeze over. A little bit of a reach, but if it's done
It's
properly,
possible.
I could roll with it. Maybe Mister Freeze could be you know helping out the Penguin or something. Then he gets out of hand. Um, I don't
You could
know.
go that way. Or they could show you
Yeah.
Mr. Freeze, kind of a limited version of him.
Right.
He's not necessarily walking around in an ice suit, but he prefers cold, and he could be
Some kind of
like a
exposure to the character.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It just occurred to me now that that could also do a really good Hugo Strange storyline, because Hugo
Yeah.
Strange is not somebody that you have seen in the movies before. I think he would be phenomenal, especially if people are getting to know Batman in Gotham. You know, now he's this figure that everybody has seen in daylight, and he's almost a source of hope for some. It would be interesting to see Hugo Strange begin his obsession with Batman, and what that could entail. I think that that would also be very easy for Matt Reeves to kind of intertwine into any story. So that could be really cool too.
Yeah. I'm all in for some organic villain growth in the next movie.
Agreed.
Something a little different than what we're used to seeing. And Matt Reeves managed to do that with a Riddler that none of us saw coming.
Dude, it was so good.
Yeah,
By the
I mean,
way, I have watched The Batman on HBO Max so many times now, and it's still like,
mhm.
I'm not even finding like plot holes and things that really bother me. I'm just really enjoying the film over and over. At
Right.
this point, it's just noise that's on in the background because honestly, I don't exactly have 3 hours to kill repeatedly, but it's on and I hear it, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, it's a great film. It took considering the last time we saw the Riddler on screen was Jim Carrey, and I'm not beating up on Jim Carrey because he did a great job for the movie he was in.
He
Um,
did.
but you see a Riddler like that, and then you see this, and it was enough that yeah, it was enough to make all of us think. And I know we were all talking about that, after the movie. But
Absolutely.
that's the kind of villain building that we can have in the second movie too. Um, I'm all in. I'm all in. I've never been. I've always liked all the Batman movies. Even the bad ones, still like them.
I,
But
agreed.
now I'm
You
excited.
know, yeah, I'm very excited. And I'm excited to see. Hopefully, the studio kind of steps away and does very little interference and just let Matt Reeves and the rest of everyone responsible for this movie who's still on board for the sequel. I hope they just let them do their thing. And if they do that, I think we're all in for another really good story, another really good movie. So that's what I'm hoping
Yes.
for. All right. Well, that's plenty for movies. I mean, there was a lot to talk about and plenty to be
Yeah.
excited about coming down the pipe. But there's also some really good video game news. I know you're ready to let us know about some. There's a pretty big, well, one of my favorite franchises has a new announcement, and then there's some other stuff that we get to talk about. So let's go ahead and pick up our joysticks because we're moving into video games.
Here we go.
All right, lay it on me, man. What's the big news? I saw
All
I
right.
saw the stuff on Twitter, and I was super stoked. But let's do the Call of Duty stuff first, man.
Yeah, let's do Call of Duty first. So, Modern Warfare 2, which is actually not the second Modern Warfare game, it's actually like the 10th, but it is the
Right.
reboot of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Has its logo, and it's officially official. It is expected to be out October November timeframe, which is consistent with Call of Duty and has been for a long time. Um, I believe Infinity Ward is at the helm of this one, which is a very good thing in my opinion. Modern Warfare 2 is my favorite Call of Duty, still is. Was my favorite first person shooter ever up until Destiny came out, actually. Um, Great game. Can't wait to see the reboot. I'm definitely going to enjoy playing it and giving it a shot. Um, but yeah, the formal announcement was made recently. It's got a new logo. You can find that on the social media. If you find GDads Gaming, I have retweeted it. I've retweeted the tweet from Infinity Ward under
Retweeted
hashtag
a
Modern
retweet.
Warfare 2. Yeah, right. Um, but it's coming. It's the next Call of Duty game. That's really all we know right now. But it's enough to get us excited. I would say. Are you going to pre-order that one?
Dude, if I'm being honest, Modern
Hmm.
Warfare 2 was my first real foray into Call of Duty. It
That's a
was
good
it
place
was
to start.
that was a really good one. I will never forget the scenes with was it Makarov and going through the airport, the optional
Ugh.
level. It was the
Yeah.
first time I ever played a game where they're like, "Hey, you don't have to do this level." And I was like,
Right.
"Oh, that's interesting." And you look up all of the reasons why and kind of what went on in the development of that game and the decision to make a level where you essentially just slaughter innocents and active terrorism in an international airport. That I mean, that alone was something. The storyline was just incredible in that game, not just for the gratuitous violence, but also the multiplayer on that is what I really sank my teeth into. The online gaming on a console for the first time. That was really the one I did with on the PS3. And now, fast forward, if I can ever get my hands on a PS5, then you betcha, I will waste so much time on that game. So
We'll
much
get you
time.
one. We'll get you one. Don't you worry about that. I'm going to take a second to riff more on Modern Warfare 2 and how much of a masterpiece that game was.
It really
Um,
was. Please do
Call of
elaborate.
Duty. Call of Duty is not really known for like depth. It's especially now. Like back then, it still wasn't. I bought the game because I had some friends. I had an Xbox 360. I had some friends that had a 360. And they're like, dude, get online. We'll play multiplayer. I suck at multiplayer games, dude. I'm not good at them. But I did it because, hey, my friend said it would be cool. And every freaking story mission was just crazy in the stuff that you were doing. You had the airport mission, which I failed that airport mission 3 times because I didn't realize you had to kill all the civilians.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm walking through, and then as soon as they figure out I'm not murdering anybody, they killed me. It's like, oh crap! I got to be evil. Um, but then later on, you've got you've got the mission where it's a blizzard condition. You have to read the motion sensor to get through it. That's awesome.
yes. The heartbeat
Um,
sensor. Yeah,
when you break into that gulag and free Captain Price, and the cinematics, and then you got Hans Zimmer doing the score and everything. That game was a freaking masterpiece. It was so good.
absolutely.
Um, can't wait to see the reboot sequel. I hope it holds half a candle to it. It'll still be a great game if it does that. It'll still be fun to play.
I have a
So
lot of faith
we'll
that it
see.
will be just as good because the remake for Modern Warfare was awesome.
It was great.
I
It was
I enjoyed
great.
that. So I assume this will be good as well. And also having Infinity Ward back to handle it gives me a lot of faith in it because obviously Infinity Ward handled the development of the first Modern Warfare 2. Which by the
Yes.
way, that's still over 10 years old.
Uh
Like,
huh.
what year did Modern Warfare 2 come out?
Oh God, do I even want to look that up? I'll feel
Yeah,
really
it'll
old.
make you feel old. And then the only other thing cool about that is I hope that pre-orders come with access to night vision goggles, the way that the first
Yes.
pre-order did. Remember that back in the day?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude,
I was working at GameStop when it came out,
dude,
and
that is what a time to be alive.
I know, right? Oh my God. But while we're on the subject, let's pivot from Activision because
Okay.
Activision Blizzard, the shareholders approved the Microsoft acquisition this week. So there's still a little work to be done there, but it's moving in that direction.
Very
Um,
cool.
so we talked a few weeks ago about how E3 was canceled and how that would have been a much bigger bombshell 10 years ago than it is today.
Right.
Um, Microsoft has officially announced that the Xbox Bethesda Game Showcase will air on June 12th at noon Central Time, and it'll be online. You'll be able to watch it. I'm sure there'll be plenty of people co-streaming it on Twitch. They'll probably be streaming it on Twitch as well.
What's
Um,
the what was the date on that you cut out there? It was June what?
June 12th.
June 12th.
June 12th, which I
Okay.
believe is on a weekend, I think. I'm not sure about that, but um, the biggest things that people are going to be looking for on this is Bethesda's next major IP release is Starfield, which is supposed to be coming out in November. It's like, picture the Elder Scrolls, but in space.
I
Um,
can get
you
behind that.
know, yeah, everything I've read says that if we don't get the first gameplay at the showcase, we will have gotten it before then. So that's something to be said. They'll have some announcements for Game Pass. They'll probably talk Elder Scrolls 6. Rumor came out of where Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be set. It's going to be set in Hammerfell. So for my Elder Scrolls people, we're going to Hammerfell. I love it. That's awesome. If you don't know, that's cool.
Yeah,
I
I
could go
don't
on for
know.
two
I don't know.
days. I'd love to talk about it, but we don't have that kind of time.
Well, that kind of time.
No, no, the Elder Scrolls, you can go on for days and days. Um, One last possible thing that they're going to talk about is there's a high likelihood that Deathloop, which was Bethesda's last PlayStation exclusive game, is likely to be added to Xbox Game Pass toward the end of this year when the exclusivity period on the PlayStation 5 expires. Um,
Got you.
okay, that's cool. I've played Deathloop. It's neat. Get on Game Pass. Hell yeah, have fun with it, dude. You'll enjoy it. But yeah, so we're about to get a fat batch of Xbox and Bethesda gaming news here in about 6 weeks. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be great. I literally just found this tweet maybe 5 minutes ago. For those of you who are watching the video feed, if you saw me looking off into space and then my eyes got to be about the size of magnets, that's because I found a tweet that says there's a high likelihood by the end of the year Ubisoft Plus will be added to Xbox Game Pass. Ubisoft Plus is like EA Play. It's all of the Ubisoft back catalog, which,
We're
there's a
talking
few
Splinter
games that
Cell, Rainbow Six.
Far Cry, The Division, Ghost
Yeah.
Recon, Assassin's Creed. Yeah, we
Oh,
got a
that's
lot
right.
going on there. So,
That's
yeah,
huge.
I'll be keeping an eye on that. We're gonna go a little further on that and see what happens for sure. But exciting stuff on the Xbox front. There is some reporting out there for my PlayStation people. God of War Ragnarok got delayed, but it is still set to come out this year. So that's good news.
You said should come out
So
this
by
year.
the time, yeah, it's supposed to come out holiday of 2022 is what I'm reading. So when you get your PS5, you
Yep.
can
Yep.
get your pre-order on for Modern Warfare 2 reboot and for God of War Ragnarok, and you'll be set for a while.
Yeah, I'm still gonna be playing Spider-Man Miles Morales for like ever. So I
Nothing
very much
wrong
look
with that
forward to
either.
that. I also look forward to picking up the PS4 Spider-Man game that's been modded for PS5. I very much look forward to playing that as well. But huge, that's a
Real,
lot of stuff going on in video games. That's huge.
yeah, yeah. It's funny because it's not. We don't have much in the way of releases, but there's always something.
That's
That's
true.
just kind of how it works. And really, we haven't even. We've still got PlayStation stuff that's going to be popping off. Sony is going to have a showcase this summer. They always do. Um,
I bet that'll be
you know,
good.
they well, and they have the PlayStation Plus retooling that's coming out. I want to say next month. Where they're going to have the different tiers. They're going to try to compete with Game Pass a little bit. So we've got that coming down. There's a lot. There's a lot, and this is the slow time. So
Right?
just
You know how
fasten your seatbelt and pick up them sticks.
they push everything to go off real big during the holiday season. So, what a
Yep,
time, man! What a time to be alive.
it's a
All right, so
beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
there's plenty to pick up there in video game news. So we hope you guys have a lot of free time on your hands coming up because you will be busy. In
Uh
that
huh.
free time, though, you should definitely pick up a comic or two because there's lots of news going on in the world of comics, and I will give you some of that news coming up next.
Hmm.
All right. So I know I was said I was going to give you some exciting news from comics, but first, I would be just really sad if we didn't mention Neil Adams, the artist, comic book legend, was pretty much responsible with Denny O'Neil over at DC Comics for returning Batman back to kind of his darker roots after the fun, campy Batman TV show from the 60s. Um, Neil was a master storyteller, artist, and really an iconic artist in the world of comic books. He passed away a few days ago at the age of 80. Reports from his quote, his wife is saying that he passed away from sepsis due to some other complications and such. But the man was an absolute legend and was always, I mean, a mainstay at all the comic conventions, had a huge booth, and would just be sitting there sketching away and ready to talk to you. Super awesome guy. I've got some stuff signed by him. And, you know, the whole time he was just there as an advocate for, you know, creators, for comic book creators. And he was just a real stand-up guy. You know, there are some, I'm sure a lot of people have some colorful stories of Neil at cons, and that is just because of how passionate he was about comics and the creation of them and creators themselves. So the world was very lucky to have had Neil, and we are, of course, saddened to hear of his passing. But Godspeed, sir, and thank you so much for your contribution to the world of comic books.
Yes, thank you. Rest in peace.
All right, so on another note, there was a really cool tribute that came out this past week in Avengers number 55. Earlier, I mentioned that that was written by Jason Aaron, but this particular issue, even though it's been a really cool Avengers story going on in the book, this issue I absolutely had to pick up because in the back of the book, there is a tribute to the incomparable George Perez. Now, if you don't immediately know that name, George Perez is another iconic artist in the world of comic books. He has contributed so much to the characters that we know and love today, including the very first Crisis on Infinite Earths, Avengers, and Justice League, the crossover that was huge, written by Kurt Busiek back in the early 2000s. George, however, did announce earlier this year that he has terminal cancer, and he is enjoying his remaining days with family and friends and loved ones. But he has stepped away, obviously, from drawing anything. But in the back of Avengers 55 is a touching tribute that has the Avengers all raising a glass to George Perez, saying once an Avenger, always an Avenger. So it was very cool to pick that up. I picked that book up because I just love George Perez. Very nice guy, one of the sweetest men I have ever met at a convention. The guy would come around the table just to give you a hug. And thank you for supporting him in his work all these years. So another somber note, but something really cool to see Marvel really doing a great tribute to an awesome creator.
Whew. That's really cool that they did that.
Yeah. And DC also has a tribute coming out, I think, next month for George's birthday. So it's going to be really cool as well. So let me pause just a minute while I take a sip in honor of those two great comic book artists. There we go. All right, so with that stuff out of the way, very important, but I'd like to get on to some happier things. I did pick up some new stuff this week. I'm kind of in this weird spot with collecting. I like to keep up with current stories and comics. So I did pick up a few things. I picked up, what we got here? That one is Batman Beyond the White Knight number 2. The first issue, you can see the review for that on GalacticDads.com. The Amazing Spider-Man, I've been reading kind of, religiously. I've been enjoying the stories. But a iconic artist is back on the art duties for Amazing Spider-Man, and that is John Romita Jr. His art is a little polarizing for some. You either love him or hate him. I like his work on certain characters, and Spider-Man is definitely one of those characters. So I was excited to see that he's back doing the art for Spider-Man. So I picked up a couple variants of the new Amazing number 1. Here you go.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that is the Lee In-hyuk variant. And then I also, I had to pick it up. I saw this variant of Mary Jane celebrating the 60 years of Spider-Man. I saw that variant and I had to get it. It's just incredible. Also, it wasn't new this week. It was about 2 weeks old now, but there's a new character that just emerged in the pages of Hulk, and that is the Hulk's Hulk, if you will. So when the Hulk hulks out, you get Titan, and this is the issue he premieres in issue number 6 of
Huh.
Hulk, written by Donny Cates with art by Ryan Stegman. I'm sorry, Ryan Otley. My bad. Huge difference. No two Ryans are alike. But Ryan Otley, of course, is most famous for his run on Invincible, Robert Kirkman's Invincible, which is now a phenomenal cartoon over on Amazon. They're doing some interesting stuff with Hulk and Bruce Banner, so that's a series I definitely check out. And then, of course, here is Avengers number 55 with the touching tribute to George Perez. So check that out.
Awesome.
Those are some of the new books I picked up. But I also want to talk about some of the classic ones I grabbed, which I got some good stuff.
Uh-oh.
Boom! So I've got Silver Surfer, number 44. This is a noteworthy tale because if you're looking at the cover there, Thanos is wearing a gauntlet, and it is the very first appearance of the Infinity Gauntlet. So when I saw that at STL Comics, I had to grab it.
Oh, for sure, man.
I also picked up the all 4 issues of the Batman Year 1 story that ran in Batman Comics. I grabbed that bundle while we were at, oh man, what's the con we go to all the time? Quad City, when we were at Quad City Con. Yeah, Quad Con. Mm-hmm. So I picked that up. I also picked up, boom, Batman the Killing Joke, the one shot. This is a great copy, by the way. It's in really good shape. But I saw that, and I had to buy it as well. I picked up a lot of, I checked off a lot of, bucket list items.
That's great.
And then I got X-Men number 137 with the classic, Scott and Jean just battling for Jean's life against the Shi'ar Imperial Guard, which is just a really good issue. And then lastly, in anticipation for the new She-Hulk Disney Plus show, I picked up the Savage She-Hulk number 1, first appearance of, obviously, She-Hulk. So, grab that. And I also got some other stuff, but it is not immediately near me. So, we'll talk about that later. But huge, kind of a weird inroad for me between the stories today and going after some more key issues. I could see myself kind of going more into the key collection, just because it's so difficult to be able to get weekly to the comic shop and keep up with all the stories, especially since each comic is like $5 or $6 now. It's getting kind of ridiculous. It's
right, and
really
it's so hard to keep up with reading them.
It is. My to-read pile is disgustingly huge, so
right.
So we'll see how it goes, but those are the books and the news from comics this week. We hope you all enjoyed. All right, so that takes us into the Galactic Dads Media Network updates, and then we will, of course, hit up our Patreon shoutouts before we do the outro. So let's go ahead and move on to the update and shoutouts. Whew. I kind of ran out of breath there. Don't worry, I'll edit this part out. Just taking a minute to breathe. Just taking a minute to breathe.
Yep, you did good. I don't blame you.
Wet the whistle a bit. We're good. Hang on.
I just looked and saw my Steam Deck pre-order got delayed.
All right, ready? Here we go.
Yep.
All right, it's that exciting time of the episode where we talk about what's going on in the Galactic Dads Media Network. Aside from this wonderful podcast, of course, you're listening to the Galactic Dads, and we thank you. You, of course, can listen to some more geeky goodness by checking out the Force Dyad podcast. Of course, the podcast that is hosted by Jedi John and the one and only Obi Sean. as they talk about all things Star Wars related and dive deep into some really cool aspects of the Star Wars fan community. As such, it is May, and May the 4th be with you, so you can be looking to them to bring you all sorts of fun Star Wars goodness, including the wonderful music behind Star Wars they're currently doing deep dives on. So go check that out. They're also getting ready for Celebration, which I believe is later this month, and they're going to bring you lots of really exciting content from that as well. So definitely keep an eye out for all things Star Wars this month, and do it over on the Force Dyad podcast, which you can get wherever you get your exciting podcast on any platform. And then, of course, you can also check out our buddies, we are the Galactic Dads, but you can check out the Comic Shop Couch podcast. Great group of guys over there. It feels like you're at the comic shop, sitting on the couch, talking comics. So you can check them out over on any podcasting platform, Apple, Spotify, you name it, they're on it. So definitely go check that out. And I feel like I'm just kind of running this. So, Eric, you want to handle Patreon shoutouts?
I'll certainly do what I can on this one. So you go to patreon.com/galacticdads, sign up to be a Patreon member, and there's a great deal of perks and other things that you get, starting with cool swag, stickers, t-shirts, hoodies, hats, all that good stuff. And you get to the producer level or higher, we give you a shout out every single time that we do this show.
Episode.
And we are on our 90th show, so we've been doing this for a minute. And this man, more than any man, knows that we do this. Our first Patreon producer level contributor, Mr. Keith Jefferson. Keith, thank you. I feel like I've said all of this stuff about you many, many times, because I have, and I don't mind doing it again.
Still mean it.
Self-proclaimed geek. Yes, we do. Great dad. He's had the Galactic Dad swag. He's shown it off on social media. He's been a great supporter since the first day of the Patreon launch, and we love him for it. Keith, thank you so much, man. We really do appreciate you. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person yet still, but we'll get to that point. This next man, we have met in person. He's helped us out a great deal on our con adventures and things of that nature. He's been on our show. He's been on the Force Dyad. Happy 501st day, my friend, to TK31788 of the 501st. He's a great dude. Helped us out. He's done a lot of fact checking for us. He was the Galactic Dads fact checker on social media for a little while. For even longer, and even still today, he'll tell you, unashamed, that bricking ain't easy. If you look him up on Instagram. This dude does stuff with Legos that I couldn't even begin to think to do. The talent level there is very high. And TK, we appreciate everything you do for us. From your support on the Patreon to your support on the shows, helping Jedi John load in all of his action figures and stuff, when we do cons. I know John appreciates it, whether or not he tells you as much as he should. I know that he does.
Which, of course, is awesome. Good stuff.
Absolutely.
Hey, wait, does that take us to our next guy? Yeah,
it does. You want to take the wheel on?
I'll handle the president. All right,
I think you do it best, man.
We do have our I Love You 3000 level Patreon subscriber, and that is Joe President. Of course, Joe President is a wonderful dude. He is the main host over on the Comic Shop Couch podcast. He's also an incredible father, and he, is an incredible father, but he also is an extraordinary cosplayer. He does some great Bane work, if you would be interested in checking that out. And he, is an all-around just stand-up guy. I don't know what else to say about him besides thank you. Thank you so much for your support. And we appreciate you and everyone else who supports the show. We appreciate you all so much, and you certainly all deserve this round of applause.
Thank you.
All right, so that does it for all of our show today. If you are interested in seeing more behind the scenes stuff, you have ways to do that. You can, of course, check us out on patreon.com/galacticdads. I'm like ahead of myself this evening. What's going on over here? But you can check us out on
It is a little late.
patreon.com/galacticdads. You get access to see the live feed recordings of the show, behind the scenes videos, and so much more. You can check that out, get yourself some bonus episodes, and a lot more exciting content. And then, of course, as we finish these beers and we say cheers, I just finished mine. Cheers, and thank you guys so much for listening. Please remember, give us a like, leave a rating, leave us a review, even better, or just share the show. No matter where you're listening to us at, tell your friends about us. We would appreciate it so much. But listen, thank you so much for your listening, and keep on doing the dad thing.
Cheers.
All right, we are out on that bad boy.
All right.
Not bad, not bad. Good
Not
stuff
bad.
there.
No, I like
All right.
Riverside. Even when it booted me off, I was back on like 5 seconds later.
Yeah, right into where we dropped you too, so that was cool. And I also like
Yeah.
that it goes ahead and records the video for us and the audio, because then I can just throw that right up on YouTube for Patreon subscribers.
Yeah. No, I think with Riverside you have to keep it up like after we stop, I think you have to keep it up for like 15 minutes or so just for it to
To
finish
finish uploading.
loading
Yeah, I'm
everything,
looking at it.
I think.
Yeah, I think you may be correct there. But anyway,
Yeah, 'cause I don't know.
yeah, I'll check it out. I'll let you know how it goes. I think we'll be
Cool,
using
yeah.
this some more. I might even drop the $20 a month for the upgrades on this. I think it's gonna be that useful.
Yeah, it might be.
I agree. All right, amigo. Well, I
Sweet.
appreciate you jumping on this evening. I'm gonna let you go
Yeah,
because
thank
I
you.
really gotta pee.
All right, man. Have a good night. I'll see you.
All right, I'll talk to you later this week. See if we can't get an in-person recording done.
That'd be all right if we could do
Uh,
that.
I'd be happy to do so. All right, buddy. Take
Yeah,
care.
let's
Tell
get it
everyone I
up.
said hi.
All right, bud. See ya.